afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Monday. Hope you all had a good weekend. Hope you all didn't watch the Packer game.
Yeah, did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, I got my COVID shot on Friday, so I was planning on having side effects on Saturday. Nothing.
Oh, see, that's good. Yeah. Don't psych yourself out like that.
I was tired, but it didn't get a fever or anything like that. So.
I went to homecoming, and it was wonderful. It was very fun, and the weather was great. And
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get to the weather in a minute, but first, topping our news today, UW-Madison was vandalized overnight by people criticizing the decision to allow a far right-wing speaker appear at a campus event.
The defense in the Darrell Brooks trial rested today, meaning closing arguments begin tomorrow, and we could be in for a verdict by the end of the week. And President Biden delivers what he calls his closing argument to voters with 2 weeks to go until the midterm elections. Let's take a look outside. President, and any leaves left after that wind yesterday, but that's a great shot. Autumn in Wisconsin. Yep, very pretty.
Cloudy and rain on the way. Julian's in the backyard, and it sounds like a lot of rain.
Yeah, well, the good news is that it's not here just yet for us in Madison, but it's definitely going to be sticking around throughout the next 24 hours, so definitely keep the rain gear nearby. But let's look at what we're seeing as of right now. In terms of the cloudy conditions, we're looking at a blanket for all of Wisconsin that's going to stick around throughout the course of the rest of the afternoon, going into tonight, and yes, for our Tuesday as well. But this is what we're watching for. We've been tracking this just very slow-moving system, which is stalled out over Iowa as of right now, and that's going to start to make its way back into Wisconsin and, of course, southern Wisconsin by the time we get into the later parts of tonight. But until then, enjoy the dry conditions, but it's still rather windy. We're still looking at breezy conditions from the south, around 16 miles per hour as of right now. 70 degrees. We're not going to be dropping too much in terms of temperatures over the next few hours, but we are looking for those showers to start to return as well. So we're going to dive into how this is going to be impacting the next 24 hours, so make sure you're keeping the rain gear handy as we still deal with these rainy conditions. Outside of that, though, here's a quick look at our traffic along the Beltline. A couple of slow spots on the west side, but overall, things are rather smooth for our 4 p.m. commutes. And over towards the interstates, we're also looking all green and smooth as butter as we're getting into our 4 p.m. commute as of right now. We'll talk more about what else to expect and how we're going to be impacted by this rain in a few moments. Until then, back to you guys.
All right, Julian, thank you. Several walls and landmarks on the UW-Madison campus are getting scrubbed clean after they were vandalized overnight.
The at times expletive messages on and around the Memorial Union seem to criticize conservative commentator Matt Walsh.
He's scheduled to appear on campus later tonight. Artil Moldine joins us now. He spoke with students on the campus and joins us now with more. Tahil?
That's right. This evening, Walsh is set to screen his film, What is a Woman?, a film that has been heavily criticized as being transphobic. And it's got students at UW not only debating that issue, but also what qualifies as free speech and how the university should respond. Some students has classified the vandalism as justified anger, something that can easily be washed off, and others are calling it an attempt to quiet conservative voices on campus. For their part, UW says they are deeply committed to free speech, but they do not tolerate any criminal damage for any reason. Still, school officials have also shared their support for the LGBTQ+ community, upsetting conservative campus leaders.
It's just clearly biased. You see on UW-Madison's story last week, and this morning, I believe, they basically condemned the event. Even though they're allowing it to happen, they are calling it, you know, this hate speech against the trans community.
UW police are still investigating the vandalism incident, but they do plan to move forward with the film screening. They also have plans to have security at the screening as opposition to the conservative commentator is expected. Our Arman Rahman is live at Memorial Union, where protests are set to kick off.
Yeah, Talil, already in the last few minutes, dozens of protesters, more, have already filled up in front of the steps of Memorial Union. I can hear them chanting right now, as well as holding signs and flags supporting the trans community and opposing Walsh's presence here on campus later tonight. They also wrote on chalk messages against what they call fascists. Walsh describes himself as a theocratic fascist and has sparked controversy for his comments about the trans community in the past. Last month, he, along with the Twitter account Libs of TikTok, targeted the UW health system for their gender services program, which led Madison police to launch an investigation which found no security threats. Now, Walsh is scheduled here to speak at 6:30 following a following a screening of his film, What is a Woman?, which is happening right now. We'll be here throughout the night to see what some people gathered here have to say. say. For now, live at Memorial Union, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. There were numerous interruptions today in the Darrell Brooks trial. Judge Jennifer Dorough asked Brooks multiple times if he had plans to testify on his own behalf, to which he refused to respond. At one point, Brooks had to be removed from the courtroom due to his multiple attempts to cut the judge off. In the adjacent courtrooms, Brooks made repeated claims that he could not hear the judge. Judge Dorough disputed that, saying this was a way to stall the trial.
Very clear to this court that he uses the statement that he can't hear as a means to delay. It's a distraction. It's very evident that he hears this court and that he's choosing to willfully not answer this court.
After returning from a break, Judge Dorough said closing arguments in the trial will begin tomorrow.
Madison police say bullets landed just a few feet from someone who was sleeping on the couch of their East Side apartment over the weekend. Police were called to the 900 block of Vernon Avenue just off Cottage Grove Road and Stoughton Roads just before 3 a.m. Saturday after getting a report of gunshots being heard in the area. When officers arrived, they found a patio door in an apartment building had been shattered by the gunshots. They estimated 3 or 4 rounds went through the patio door and landed near where the person was sleeping. Fortunately, no one was hurt in the incident. President Biden delivered what he calls his closing argument to Democratic Party workers.
This as Republicans are gaining ground in the battle for control of Congress.
Skylar Henry has more details from Capitol Hill.
President Biden rallied the troops at the Democratic National Committee headquarters with a little more than 2 weeks to go until Election Day.
I'm here to deliver what I believe is a closing argument about what we need to do in the next 15 days.
Republicans have capitalized on a weakening economy to surge in the latest polls.
All the overspending in Washington, they have created the worst inflation since Jimmy Carter was president.
But the president says Democrats need to make a case to voters that Republican policies won't work.
Republicans are doubling down on their MAGA trickle-down economics that benefits the very wealthy, failed the country before, and will fail it again if they win.
The time to turn the tide on the economic message is running out. Millions of Americans have already cast their ballot as early voting is underway in several more states today, including Texas and Florida. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the focus now is on getting voters to the polls.
Now we're down to the stretch, and we're down to very close races, and we feel very confident.
But New York Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney, who chairs the DCCC and is in charge of House Democrat election efforts, is in a fight to stay in Congress himself. The Cook Political Report has shifted Maloney's race with Republican challenger Mike Lawler from leans Democrat to toss-up. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And CBS News has learned the DCCC plans to spend more than $600,000 in advertising in Congressman Maloney's district in an attempt to save the seat.
All told, Republicans have already spent more than $6 million in ads. Early voting in Madison begins tomorrow. Early voting turnout numbers across the country are surging. That's according to data from election officials Edison Research and Catalyst. Almost 7.3 million ballots have been cast in 39 states. Florida has the highest number of ballots cast with more than 1 million. California and Georgia are each reporting more than 800,000 votes so far, and in Pennsylvania more than 500,000 ballots have been cast.
Well, Britain has a new prime minister after Liz Truss resigned last week. Rishi Sunak now becomes Britain's youngest prime minister in more than a century. The 42-year-old previously lost the top spot to Truss, but her disastrous 44 days in office saw the economy tank, along with the British pound. Inflation soar and fears of a recession grow. The party now hopes the Oxford and Stanford-educated Sunak has the right stuff. Reigning on his victory is the country's opposition. The Labour Party argues British people should pick the country's next leader.
There is an alternative, and that's a stable Labour government. And the public are entitled to have their say, and that's why there should be a general election.
Sunak, a father of two, had a background in finance before entering government and becoming Boris Johnson's finance minister. Now it's up to Sunak to see if he can save the UK from financial disaster. The United Kingdom isn't scheduled to have a general election until the end of 2024.
There was a shooting this morning at a St. Louis, Missouri high school. Police say 3 people are dead, including the 20-year-old shooter. The shooting happened just after 9 a.m. when police learned of a man with a gun inside Central Visual and Performing Arts High School. He was killed in a shootout between himself and police.
While on paper we might have 9 victims, 8 who were transported and 1 remained, we have hundreds of others. Everyone who survived here is going to take home trauma.
Police have not confirmed the identity of the shooter, but say once they do, they will also be able to discover his motive. None of the victims have been publicly identified.
Russia is doubling down on its insistence that Ukraine is planning to detonate a dirty bomb on its own people. In a news conference today, Russia's foreign minister reaffirmed a Russian claim that Ukraine plans to drop a radioactive dirty bomb on its own territory. But in a televised address, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said, quote, if Russia calls and says that Ukraine is allegedly preparing something, it means only one thing, that Russia has already prepared all of it. A dirty bomb has never been used before. It's not a nuclear explosion and would be far less harmful, but by using conventional explosives to spread radioactive material, it's an effective weapon of terror and could contaminate a city for years. Well, the sunburst chairs at the Wisconsin Union's Memorial Union Terrace are put away for the year. This morning's removal marks the end of the union's warm weather programming, including free and low-cost live music, art activities, film showings, and seasonal dining options. The 2,000 green, yellow, and orange chairs and tables have been on the terrace since mid-April.
Hollywood is mourning the death of comedian and actor Leslie Jordan. The Los Angeles Times is reporting Jordan died in a car crash in Hollywood this morning. Sources tell the Times the 67-year-old was behind the wheel when his car crashed into the side of a building. Jordan is best known for his work on the TV show Will and Grace and American Horror Story. He was 67 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a long resume.
Yeah. And he's a hit on Instagram over the pandemic.
That's right.
Made a lot of people happy. 67. Awfully young.
Very sad.
Well, we hear a lot about long-haul COVID.
Turns out it is affecting student learning as well. We have the results of a new study when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, Live at 4.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
All units. Reports of an abortion at Central Hospital. Officers needed to detain doctor.
If Ron Johnson has his way, he wouldn't just ban abortions. Doctors could go to jail for it. And Johnson's tried for over a decade. He even co-sponsored a bill with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And said if women don't like an abortion ban, they can just move. But it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
Don't you wish you could wave a magic wand and have whiter teeth? Well, you can, but it's not magic. It's power swabs. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and boom, whiter teeth and a better smile. And since you're not dealing with messy trays or awkward strips, you're less vulnerable to the harsh sensitivity they sometimes create.
I've used strips. They seem to really hurt my teeth. The power swabs, it just seemed very gentle.
It's so simple and easy. You just open it, you apply it to your teeth, you forget it's there, and I noticed that they're white and bright again like they were before.
I noticed actually a difference the first time that I used power swabs. You put on the first coat and then the activator goes on and immediately you start seeing it working.
It only takes 5-minute applications to get a brighter, whiter smile with power swabs. You just snap, swab, and smile. Power swabs have been clinically studied to whiten natural teeth and remove stains from caps, crowns, and veneers. It's so powerful, it removes stains from coffee, tea, red wine, and even smoking.
I love my coffee in the morning.
I will never stop drinking
drinking coffee. I will not be the person drinking hot coffee with a straw.
As much coffee as I drink, I can use my power swabs and eliminate the staining.
When I use the power swabs, I applied it directly to my front tooth where the coffee stain was.
I like being able to individually get the teeth, and most importantly, it got kind of in between the grooves.
You can put it directly on the stain that you see on your teeth, and it's so precise.
But as powerful as it is, it's also gentle and causes 0 to minimal sensitivity.
This didn't sting, it didn't burn, it didn't have an aftertaste. It was just a swab, and I just got to rub it on my teeth, and that was it.
Take it from me as someone who has gone the dental route, but has also gone on the shelf route, and I've not really seen anything work as effective and as easy as power swabs.
Whiten your teeth today by ordering power swabs and receive 40% off the regular price. Shipping is free, plus you'll receive a free quick stick pen to use on the go after meals or a cup of coffee. Visit powerswabs.com or call the number on your screen.
Everything seems to be getting more and more expensive these days. And it's the same for your heating bills. Since it will cost more to heat your home this winter, USA Insulation wants to give you control over your utility bills. Our premium injection foam keeps the cold outside and your warm, comfortable air inside, right where it belongs. Call now before winter and get a $500 early bird discount.
USA Insulation.
Welcome back, dog lovers. Listen up. Your pup could be a star.
Yours could be a star. They already are. Check out some pics of these photogenic pups and ask yourself, is my dog even more photogenic? If you answered yes, you or your dog could make up to $10,000 a year. Yappy.com, a website for pet gifts, is hiring a chief fluff officer. The job description all boils down to just being cute and taking even cuter pictures while trying out some of the gifts. I love that one from the website. You have to apply by November 18th at yappy.com.
I don't know.
I mean, you should go for it, Mark. 10 grand.
Americans may want to start saving up for a rainy day. That could last months. According to the latest survey from the National Association for Business Economics, more than half of corporate economists polled saw a recession coming sometime before the end of 2023. 11% say the U.S. is already experiencing a recession. The findings, which show the economy is slowing as risks are growing, are based on responses from 55 members of the NABE. Among the biggest concerns, increased interest rates and historically high inflation.
Tesla is cutting starting prices for the Model Y and Model 3 vehicles by up to 9% in China. They're Tesla's first cuts in China this year. The news was not welcomed by investors. Shares fell nearly 4% in pre-market trading in the U.S. Last week, Tesla CEO Elon Musk said there was a recession of sorts underway in China, but he said he expects Tesla to be recession resilient.
Stocks start the week on a positive note as traders await some earnings reports. The Dow Industrials gained 417 points, closing at 31,499. The Nasdaq added 92. The S&P 500 was up 44.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke at the Tech Women 10th anniversary closing ceremony in Washington, D.C. The program, which is sponsored by the State Department, offers women from Africa, Central and South Asia and the Middle East opportunities to visit the U.S. and collaborate on STEM-based projects and to network.
We're building bridges in STEM, between our people, between all of our countries. And we're doing that through all of you.
Tech Women was launched in 2011 with 37 participants and quickly expanded, welcoming over 100 from 21 countries by 2019. During his speech, Blinken encouraged women participants to help others when they return home by becoming mentors.
Well, a new report out today shows the devastating toll of learning setbacks in America's children caused by the pandemic.
Across the country, 4th and 8th graders fell behind in reading and saw their largest ever decreases in math scores.
Gabe Cohen has more on what this means for children, parents, and educators.
An alarming snapshot of learning loss from the pandemic. New test results from the nation's report card show in most states, 4th and 8th graders are falling behind in reading and math. The math scores are historic, the worst decline ever recorded, with roughly 25% of fourth graders and 38% of eighth graders performing below the basic level, the lowest of the 3 achievement levels for the test. Students who were already struggling in school showed the most dramatic drop-off. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona calling the results appalling and unacceptable.
They were isolated for 1.5 to 2 years. That's a huge, huge problem.
Michelle Burke is an 8th grade teacher on Long Island and has a daughter in 8th grade.
My daughter is struggling in math exponentially. A lot of the things that we're seeing emotionally, behaviorally, are putting a huge strain on what you're seeing in the classroom. Huge strain.
The findings come more than a month after similar results showing math and reading scores for 9-year-olds fell by a level not seen in decades. The federal government is pumping billions in relief funds into districts, requiring them to spend at least 20% on learning loss. Schools nationwide have been trying to hire more staff, but with teacher burnout and fewer new teachers, many schools face a teacher shortage, especially in rural areas and those with more low-income families and students of color.
Good afternoon. IDs, please.
At Casa Grande Union High School in Arizona, some classes have more than 70 students. And in other rooms, para-educators are teaching lessons prepared by a certified teacher.
I think of myself, I struggled with math, and if I was sitting in that classroom, I needed help, I had questions, I need somebody to break it down a different way. If there's nobody who has the content knowledge to do that, I'm going to shut down, and I'm thinking many of our students might be shutting down as well.
Okay, last couple seconds.
And what makes these math scores particularly tricky is that parents often feel more comfortable teaching reading rather than math.
So teachers are clearly critical, and those STEM subjects are facing some of the worst teacher shortages.
Districts are trying to recover, but some experts say that could take years. Well, wait until you meet our pet of the week from the Dane County Humane Society.
His name is Marshmallow, and he's...
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, what a cutie. He's making his media debut coming up after Julian's First Warn forecast.
At Harker Heating and Cooling, you can save a whole bunch of money when you buy a furnace. You know what's even better? Saving even more money when you purchase a furnace and an air conditioner at the same time.
Harker Heating and Cooling.
Democrats defunded and dispirited our police, creating the worst crime wave in decades. Biden spent us into 40-year high inflation, drove gas prices to record levels, and opened our borders, causing a flood of illegal immigrants and deadly drugs. Mandela Barnes supports all the policies causing you and your family so much pain. He will rubber stamp their liberal agenda. Mandela Barnes sides with radical leftists, not with you.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
This is how it feels to do more with less asthma, thanks to Dupixent. Dupixent is not for sudden breathing problems. It's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma and can help improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks. Dupixent helps prevent asthma attacks and can even reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Imagine that. Dupixent can cause allergic reactions that can be severe. Get help right away if you have rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening joint aches and pain or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Who knows what you can do when you do more with less asthma? Ask your asthma specialist about Dupixent.
These are the faces that smile so wide at the friends and staff who are by their side, where life is lived with a feeling of pride on every bump of life's great ride that comes from the care that sweetens the air that lives in the house that angels built. Attic Angel Community. Independent homes and 4 levels of assisted living built with the help of angels.
Hi, this is Lisa from 4 Imprint. Yes. I'd like 50 welcome wows, 300 customer I love it, and 200 team member oh yes. Certainly. You know we got some brand new woohoos.
Dial up the wow factor with promotional products from 4 Imprint. We specialize in awesome items that are certain to awe and guaranteed to deliver some ooh yes. From apparel, backpacks, drinkware to high-tech items.
Wow.
I love it. Woohoo!
Go to 4imprint.com and find some wow now. 4 Imprint, for certain.
At Harker Heating and Cooling, you can save a whole bunch of money when you buy a furnace. You know what's even better? Saving even more money when you purchase a furnace and an air conditioner at the same time.
Harker Heating and Cooling.
Take a look at this. The world's longest timber-towered suspension bridge is now open to the public in Boyne Falls, Michigan. At roughly 1,200 feet long, Skybridge, Michigan in Boyne Mountain provides more than 1,000 feet of suspended walking surface. The walkable portion of the pedestrian-only bridge is about 5 feet wide and officially opened over the weekend.
Well, look at the colors.
That's what I'm saying. Forget the bridge.
Yeah.
Look at
that foliage is amazing.
This is northern Lower Michigan. Is where this is.
So how far would you guess from Madison?
Near Traverse City. It's quite a way. I mean, it's way up there. But
boy, it looks like it's worth the drive, though.
Look at that bridge.
Cool. Beautiful.
Pretty.
No.
Well, it probably doesn't sway. Do you think?
Look at the ski hill things are on the bottom. How high that is.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's a bridge.
Just enjoy the colors, Mark.
All right. Not many colors left around here with that wind this weekend.
No, not at all. But the good news is the wind will start to phase out for us. But until we get done with the rain, we're going to take a deeper look at that with the first one forecast coming up after the break.
I'll never forget January 6th, watching my fellow law enforcement officers defending the Capitol, defending our freedoms, defending democracy, and then 5 officers died. But Ron Johnson is making excuses for rioters who tried to overthrow our government, even calling them peaceful protests. Johnson defended Donald Trump's lies and even supported efforts to make it harder for some people to vote at all. Senator Johnson's just not for us.
And Citizens United is responsible for the content of this ad.
He has his grandfather's smile.
Her mother's eyes.
My cheekbones.
But will she have my diabetes?
My sickle cell anemia.
His father's heart disease.
Go to joinallofus.org to share your health information and speed up health research breakthroughs. The future of health begins with you.
Add character from floor to ceiling with 11% off everything at Menards. Upgrade your home today with Shaw Flooring. From soft and luxurious carpet to durable laminate flooring or waterproof vinyl plank. Save 11% at all Shaw Flooring. Find your style with Patriot Lighting. Ceiling fans make a beautiful addition to any room while helping you save on energy costs year-round. Get 11% off all Patriot Lighting ceiling fans at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Finding the Honda you really want just got easier. With a longer limited warranty, so long. Downloadable inspection reports, so you see what we see. Downloadable. And complimentary oil changes within the first year. That's what I'm talking about. You've never been more at peace than with Honda Certified Pre-Owned.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
All units, all units. Reports of an abortion at Central Hospital. Officers needed to detain doctor.
If Ron Johnson has his way, he wouldn't just ban abortions. Doctors could go to jail for it. And Johnson's tried for over a decade. He even co-sponsored a bill with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And said if women don't like an abortion ban, they can just move. But it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Well, cloudy and dreary day for us is going to be met with some more rainfall by the time we get into the later part of today. But until then, this is what we've been tracking for us. It's been a band of showers, which is stretched in throughout multiple states, which has really stalled out into Iowa, but starting to leak its way just into Crawford County as we continue throughout the rest of our afternoon, heading towards the evening. Now, as we take a closer look at what we're seeing for us here in southern Wisconsin, we're not looking for the rain to really get to us just yet. But you can see just outside of Prairie du Chien and starting to make its way closer to Platteville is where we're going to be watching for that rain to really start to roll its way in. And now this is what we're also watching for. It's right behind the leading edge of the cold front. That's where that band of rain, which has been stretching through just most of the Midwest and even to southern parts of Illinois and for Missouri is where we're looking for that rain to continue to move in for us. Now for tonight, 54 degrees is where we're going to bottom out. It's going to be not so cool, but still cooler than what we've had over the last couple of nights. Cloudy and scattered showers are what we're really going to be emphasizing throughout the course of tonight, transitioning into our Tuesday. So let's go ahead and walk through how things are going to pan out for us. 5 p.m. commute, not really looking at much outside of just some gusty winds coming in from the south. Around 8 o'clock, though, that's when we're going to start to see some change for us. Rain is really going to start to band itself into the western parts of southern Wisconsin, and by the time we get into around 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, that's when it's going to start to make its way here into Dane County, Greene and Rock counties, and then start to move its way just a bit more east as well. Overnights, we're going to continue to see that rainfall. Not looking at too much in terms of isolated thunderstorms, but some moderate to heavy rainfall could be potentially around for some areas, especially through the overnights. But then as we get into our Tuesday morning, it's mainly going to be for the southeast that we're going to see the rainfall stick around. But though it's just for not just for the southeast, here in Madison, by the time we're heading out the door for tomorrow, we could be seeing some rain as well. So definitely want to keep the rain gear handy. But once we get into around the lunchtime hour, it's pretty much going to stay to the eastern side. However, we could start to see a bit more showers starting to develop by the time we get into the 5 p.m. commute and around 8 o'clock as well. But you can still see that band in itself is mainly going to be in the eastern side of southern Wisconsin by the time we get into our Tuesday night, transitioning into our Wednesday. So areas just west of Madison, for Platteville, Lone Rock, we're not going to be looking at much rainfall for us by the time we get into our Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what we could potentially be seeing in terms of our rainfall totals, mainly from 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch of rainfall for us in Madison and areas to the west. But for the southern areas, could see close to 1 inch, especially over towards the east, where we're looking for more of those bands of rain to really set up heading into our Wednesday. But outside of that, here's our 3 things we need to know. Once the rain is over with, we're looking at some cooler temperatures, and we're going to see some dry conditions as we head into the weekend. Temperatures are going to be very steady into the 50s by the time we get into the next couple of days for us. And for Halloween, honestly looking at pretty perfect weather for us, for the kiddos who are going to go trick-or-treating and those who want to celebrate heading into the weekend. It's going to do it for weather. What's coming up next, guys?
All right, Julian, thank you. It's time to introduce you to our pet of the week. Lisa Bernard from the Dane County Humane Society is here with Marshmallow.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Tell us about this little guy. Little.
He is little at 1.8 pounds, so very small. He's very playful. He's still very young. He's about 1 month and 20-something days.
So he was found stray, right?
Yes, he was found as a stray.
All by himself?
All by himself in some prairies. So when he came in, he was very, very little for his size, and he obviously wasn't eating very much. So we put him with one of our foster families, and they helped him get up to his current weight so he can be made available for adoption.
He is light as a feather. We were holding him earlier, but you can see he's doing well because now he wants to play. And
The foster said he likes to play?
He loves to play. And the great thing about when animals can go with a foster family is that they could find out so much more about their personality, and then we can help them find a home. And we can relay the information we receive from a foster to the potential adopters.
And being at the shelter can be stressful for the animals, too.
Yes. So, like, some of our larger-sized dogs, which we consider big dogs at 30 pounds and larger, which to me, 30 pounds is not very big. But sometimes they get stressed out because they're at the shelter longer. It takes them longer to find a home. So having a foster family that they can go to for even a week just to hang out and go on some adventures would be wonderful.
And you're always looking for new fosters?
We are, and we've just streamlined our onboarding process to make it a lot faster so that way we can help animals quicker.
Is Marshmallow available for adoption, or is he still with his foster family for a while?
No, he's going to be available after this segment.
When you get back to the shelter, he'll be available.
Yes.
There you go, folks. And what time will that be? Probably around 5 o'clock?
Hopefully I'll make it there in 20 minutes.
He's so sweet and very calm for a kitty.
Yeah.
Shy at first, but warms up.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a whole new experience for him. He was very, very mellow in the car ride and
a lot
enjoying
going on,
that.
A lot going on around here.
A lot to take in, but he's going to be so curious about everything too once he gets used to things and wanting more.
He is just
He's
precious.
so sweet.
All right, last week?
Harley.
That's right, Harley the Beagle.
Yes, she got adopted.
Yay.
We're very happy for her.
She's a little older too, right?
Yep, 9 years old, so very happy.
That's great news. I'm so happy to hear that. That was a great dog.
Yes.
So if you're interested in adopting Marshmallow, who will be available later today, go to giveshelter.org. And all the animals are listed there, except for this guy, because he's not listed yet.
Well, they probably just published him just now.
Okay.
Right before I got here. So.
Oh, I hope he finds a good home.
He'll find
the
a good
story has a happy ending.
Yes.
Yeah, he's had a rough start.
Yes. But he'll find his new beginning.
He will.
So.
Lisa, thank you.
Look at that face.
Thank you.
So sweet. And the little pink nose. Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Lisa, thanks. Great to see you.
Good luck, buddy. Coming up next here on Live at 4, a barista making latte art that you have to see to believe.
And then coming up next hour at 5, the Oregon fire explosion from Friday morning rocked the neighborhood to its core. Our Andrew Banstra follows up with the fire chief of the village coming up at 5.
When I heard from my doctor, it was my worst nightmare. My baby's diagnosis was dismal, a severe abnormality, and my husband and I decided to have an abortion so our daughter wouldn't suffer. Tim Michaels thinks that decision should have been his, not ours. He wants to criminalize abortion, and if he's elected, women will lose the freedom to decide what's best for them. Tim Michaels is just way too radical for Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Greenhut, the CEO of Plexiderm. And if you haven't tried Plexiderm, we've created the best offer yet with our Plexiderm 10-Minute Challenge. All it takes is 10 minutes to reduce the appearance of under-eye bags, wrinkles, and crow's feet. Even the 11 lines between your eyes are visibly gone in minutes. Plexiderm works so well, makeup artists, celebrities in Hollywood, and even people across the country just like you look and feel years younger in minutes.
My real true opinion is holy words I can't say on camera. That was me a couple of years ago when I first tried Plexiderm. So I have these forehead lines. They're really deep set. They're hereditary. I've had them for years. And a couple of years ago, I took the Plexiderm 10-Minute Challenge. Really, there are no other options. Plexiderm is the only thing that works. So after that video shoot, I was just walking home through Manhattan, smiling, thinking, wow, I look really cool. I look really young. And I think it just exuded this confidence. It was life-changing. It was the best decision I ever made. Still using it.
I'm Neela. I'm 61 years old. I'm a professional personal trainer. It's so important to be in good health and to be fit and take care of yourself. How it makes you feel inside is amazing. And yet, when you look in the mirror, what you see necessarily isn't what you feel inside. Plexiderm, seriously, I look 20 years younger than I did before. And that's so super important because my whole life is about health, fitness, feeling good, and looking good. And first chance I really got to look how I feel inside. Honest to God, it's amazing. There's nothing there. Like, the bags are gone.
The instant results are from naturally based silicates found in shale rock. Once applied, your skin tightens and firms, rapidly reducing the appearance of under-eye bags and wrinkles in minutes. So if under-eye bags and wrinkles make you look tired and older, take action with the Plexiderm 10-Minute Challenge. Try it today for only $14.95, plus get free shipping. Visit plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
New at 5, vandals mark Memorial Union with messages against the visit of conservative speaker Matt Walsh. News 3 Now speaks with students about Walsh's tour at UW-Madison.
After an unseasonably mild weekend, cooler weather along with some rain returns for tomorrow. After the showers clear out Tuesday night, seasonal temperatures and dry weather will be with us into the weekend. I'll let you know how much rain to expect at 5.
Ahead at 6, after an armed robbery and a house explosion, Oregon now also has an officer-involved shooting. We share the details of the events tonight at 6.
Here's a shot from the Edgewater Skycam. Downtown Madison, 66 degrees and cloudy. Enjoy the dryness while you can.
Yeah, no rain yet, but rain is on the way.
Why are celebs going bonkers over lattes created by a certain barista?
Tilda Swinton couldn't stop taking pictures of his latest coffee creation.
Jeannie Mose has more.
When actress Tilda Swinton swooned I've got over a latte and scurried to get her camera, you knew there had to be something special inside that cup. It was Tilda herself.
Yeah, who doesn't want a latte with their face in it, you know?
Think of Brian Leonard as Toronto's latte artist to the stars.
God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. From Lily Tomlin to Josh Brolin.
No way!
To Olivia Colman.
No way!
To Seth Rogen.
This is insane.
He's leaving them speechless.
Meryl Streep called me a genius, and it'll be on my tombstone probably.
Hillary Clinton said it too.
God, you're a genius.
Barista Brian uses a bamboo stir stick to apply food coloring to the foam. He can crank out latte art in 2 to 4 minutes, though many of his subjects, like Sydney Sweeney, don't want to drink the artwork.
So I can't ruin this.
On the other hand, Tilda Swinton couldn't resist.
And it's delicious.
Sucking up her image, like Carly Simon, Barista Brian had a dream.
I had some dreams, they were clouds in my coffee.
But he dreamed of foam in his coffee.
You're so vain. You probably think this latte is about you.
His dream of being paid to perform latte art at film festivals and events has come true. He paints everything from the Foma Lisa to Matt Damon to Tom Hanks. And he has a signature line for everyone who praises him.
Thanks a latte.
Jeannie Mose, CNN.
Face in your latte, and
New York.
You're so vain.
That's quite a skill.
It's got to be cold by the time he's done.
I couldn't drink it, but it's beautiful to look at.
It's something else. Well, there's a new #1 at the box office with numbers as big as the actor himself.
Will Loper checks out Black Adam, starring The Rock, when Live at 4 continues.
Buzzed into Madison. Our guest today, we have Jim Flaherty, the communications director from AARP Wisconsin. You've been in the studio so many times, but you're usually on the other side of the camera. I'm glad you're right here today.
I'm super excited.
Good. Let's get right to it. So you guys have done a recent election survey. Let's talk about some of the findings from that survey.
Yeah, the top line results are showing that the Republicans are winning both in the governor's race and the Senate race by very slight margins. But you have to remember, this is a horse race poll. And if you think about it in terms of a horse race like the Kentucky Derby, things get really, really volatile right near the end. So in order for candidates to come out ahead in this election, they're going to have to really tune in on what matters most to voters. And those are going to be coming from the independent voters.
Absolutely. Now, some of the findings say that 4 out of 5 voters don't feel like Congress is listening to the issues that matter to them. That's a huge number.
Isn't that an amazing stat?
What does that mean?
What it means is that people are feeling like their thoughts are not being listened to by the candidates, which is why AARP is going all across Wisconsin and the entire country in a campaign called In My Shoes, where we're listening to what people say and then passing those thoughts along to candidates.
You're truly taking them to the politicians and saying, this is what matters.
That's right.
All right.
Exactly right.
I love that. Now let's talk about Social Security, because there's an overwhelming majority polled. They're going to vote for whoever is going to protect Social Security.
Yes.
It's a big, important issue.
It's gigantic among the 50-plus voters. 84% of folks said that they're going to vote for a candidate who will protect Social Security. That we've all paid into this program our entire life. We deserve it to be strong and solvent when we retire.
Absolutely.
So we're very big on protecting Social Security.
Of course, we only had time to touch on some of these important issues. For more info, visit aarp.org/WI votes. For Jim Flaherty, I'm Emmy Fink, and you're buzzed into Madison.
Defund the Police radical Mandela Barnes isn't just dangerously wrong on crime. Barnes supported raising Wisconsin's gas tax nearly 30%, while we already pay some of the highest gas taxes in the country. Barnes wants to stop all oil and gas production in America, killing jobs and making prices skyrocket. And while Barnes didn't pay his own taxes, he pushed a $1 billion tax increase on Wisconsin families. We can't afford radical Mandela Barnes. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
All units, all units. Reports of an abortion at Central Hospital. Officers needed to detain doctor.
If Ron Johnson has his way, he wouldn't just ban abortions. Doctors could go to jail for it. And Johnson's tried for over a decade. He even co-sponsored a bill with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And said if women don't like an abortion ban, they can just move. But it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
Well, I guess the good thing is that there's not a lot of rain to really be impeding our traffic around this hour as of right now. But of course, once we get to that rain later on tonight, well, we could see a different story. But as of right now, along the Beltline, west and eastbound, rather smooth. All green for us, though we are looking for some slow spots in some of our residential areas as of right now. Otherwise, we are looking pretty good, especially onto the rest of the Beltline. But for some of the ramps onto the slower side, especially for Fish Hatchery. Now taking a look over to what's happening onto the interstate. Interstate is pretty smooth as well, even though we have some slow spots just near Stoughton. Outside of it, though, we are looking for, on I-39, green, smooth as butter, as we're getting into closer to the 5 p.m. commute. It's going to do it for traffic. Send it back to you guys.
All right, downtown Mexico City came to a standstill. Traffic was not good there as thousands of people joined the 15th edition of the popular Zombie Walk. It was the first time the event has staged following a 3-year hiatus because of the pandemic. Participants went all out in their efforts to walk like the dead, doused in fake blood and wearing torn clothing and masks. Mexico's first zombie walk was held in 2007, 4 years after the first ever zombie walk celebration in Toronto in 2003.
Is that on your bucket list?
No, it's not.
First Lady Jill Biden hosted guests at the White House today to deliver remarks on the administration's Cancer Moonshot Initiative. This is just one of a series of national roundtables on breast and cervical cancer this October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The roundtables are a response to the White House's Cancer Moonshot, a goal to cut the rates of deaths by cancer by at least 50% in the next quarter century.
In February, the President and I reignited the Cancer Moonshot with a bold ambition to build a world where the word cancer forever loses its power.
The roundtables bring together leading organizations and experts for the purpose of driving progress and improving the lives of cancer patients and their families.
Well, it seems as if The Rock can do no wrong at the box office.
Here's our film critic Will Loper with the weekend numbers and a few streaming suggestions as we head toward Halloween.
Hey, Mark and Susan. Dwayne Johnson rocked the box office as superhero Black Adam, making an impressive $67 million.
Black Adam, we're here to negotiate your peaceful surrender. Heard about at least 3 killings this afternoon. I'm not peaceful.
The darker take on the superhero genre finds Johnson as a 5,000-year-old entity.
My son sacrificed his life to save me. These powers are not a gift, but a curse.
While the movie has plenty of action, flying in skin-tight suits, and explosions that you'd expect,
You have 2 choices. You can be the destroyer of this world, or you can be its savior.
what it lacks is any of Dwayne Johnson's charm or humor, which ends up being the biggest blow to enjoying this movie. Also in theaters and coming in at number 2 with a respectable $16 million is the film Ticket to Paradise, proving to be a much more enjoyable experience, and with any luck, reviving the theatrical rom-com.
Oh, come on.
You've got to be kidding me.
Excuse me, ma'am. I need to sit somewhere else. We used to be married.
Worst 19 years of my life.
We were only married for 5.
I'm counting the recovery.
Julia Roberts and George Clooney play divorced parents who fly to Bali to stop their daughter from getting married too quickly.
I won't let her throw her life away. We need to trick her into dumping him. As much as this will pain us both, we have to call a truce to make this work.
You have to be in lockstep.
What follows is standard romantic comedy hijinks. But what this movie truly brings to the table is 2 of Hollywood's most charming stars having the time of their lives in beautiful locations.
Dad, this is G'day. Almost supposed to ask G'day.
You learned that to make me look bad.
You don't need my help there.
Ticket to Paradise is definitely worth seeing, even if it's just to spend 100 minutes with George and Julia Smiles.
Oh, no. Dad, please stop doing that. Oh, my God.
Over on streaming services, newly streaming on Apple TV Plus is a second season of Acapulco.
It's time for another chapter of my rags to riches life story.
The show picks back up with Eugenio Derbez telling of his time working at a resort.
So, what's Maximo's deal?
I think he's Mexican. I didn't know it yet. But everything was about to change for me.
You always have to make things a mystery.
I don't know. Do I?
Horror fans will want to check out the latest scary anthology movie on Shudder, VHS 99.
And welcome back. This is a very special episode.
Spend the night in a coffin. Lily!
Speaking of anthologies, tomorrow on Netflix, stream Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
This is one of those nightmare specials, the kind you never get to the bottom of.
The Oscar-winning director introduces 8 episodes, each telling a different horror story.
Lot 36. Are you curious?
Whatever is in there is mine now.
Can you tell it's the week before Halloween? For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper.
Nothing to see there. Got a free week. All right, we'll be right back with a final check of your forecast.
With Pick and Save Fresh Perks, it's easy to get lower than low prices for the win. You also earn fuel points on every purchase to save big at the pump. Pick and Save Fresh Perks. All you do is win big savings. Pick and Save. Fresh for everyone.
There's no other place where my story is possible. My mom was a teacher. My dad worked third shift. It was our ticket to the middle class. That's the promise of America I'll fight to protect. While others send our jobs overseas, I'll bring manufacturing back, invest in our own workers, and stock our shelves with American products. And with a middle class tax cut, you'll be able to keep more of what you earn. I know the promise of America, and no one will fight harder to protect it. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now.
Call 1-800-336-0524.
I'll never forget January 6th, watching my fellow law enforcement officers defending the Capitol, defending our freedoms, defending democracy, and then 5 officers died. But Ron Johnson is making excuses for rioters who tried to overthrow our government, even calling them peaceful protests. Johnson defended Donald Trump's lies and even supported efforts to make it harder for some people to vote at all. Senator Johnson's just not for us.
And Citizens United is responsible for the content of this ad.
With the Pick and Save app, no matter where you order free pickup, you get the same great deals as you'd get in our stores. So start your cart today.
Whenever, wherever.
Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
A new house with superpowers.
It looks normal. It just uses less energy, and we'll save money down the road.
Susan Simon shows you a first-of-its-kind home construction in our area. Find out what makes it special for the homeowners and our environment. Tonight at 10.
And taking a look at our 3 things we'll need to know as we wrap up our weather. Well, we're looking for rain to continue through Tuesday, but for some areas, especially to the far southeast, could see some rain continuing into our Wednesday. But for most of us, it's going to be Tuesday. We're going to finally start to see it start to clear out for us. Outside of it, cool temperatures will stick around throughout the rest of the week. It's going to be rather normal. And then as we get towards the weekend, those cool temperatures will lead to even dry conditions as well. Plenty of sunshine for our weekend, and heading into Halloween, folks, we're looking at a pretty perfect forecast for us as we go through it in the next few days. Over to you guys.
Not like 2019 when we had 7 inches of snow on Halloween.
Right.
Thank you, Julian. Tomorrow here on Live at 4, UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff joins us for our weekly COVID update.
And Consumer Reports will help us pick out the best collagen, promising healthier skin and joints. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4.
At Harker Heating and Cooling, you can save a whole bunch of money when you buy a furnace. You know what's even better? Saving even more money when you purchase a furnace and an air conditioner at the same time.
Harker Heating and Cooling.
Over 800 convicted criminals released. 270 murderers and attempted murderers released. 44 child rapists released. Tony Evers' parole commission has released hundreds of violent criminals early, including some of the worst killers in Wisconsin history. Evers' liberal policies are making our communities less safe. Tony Evers put criminals first and our family's safety last.
Hey, we're here at the local farmers market where Informed Choice Insurance Agency is offering fresh, hand-picked local Medicare. What do you mean when you say shop local for Medicare?
A lot of Medicare health plans have benefits that are specific to your county. So why would you call a national 1-800 number when your local Medicare plans have all the bells and whistles the national TV ads promise, only better?
Don't be fooled by national TV hype. When it comes to your Medicare options, keep it local with Informed Choice Insurance Agency, and their services are free.
The house before you, over 30 years old, still has its original window. Boom.
There's no need to be afraid of old windows. Call Feldco for 50% off.
It's the biggest sale of the season. 50% off Feldco windows, plus no money down and no interest until 2024.
50% off ends Halloween. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine when you purchase. Plus, current Chevy owners can get an additional $2,500 loyalty cash. And now during truck season, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward a new Chevy truck with accessories.
At Harker Heating and Cooling, you can save a whole bunch of money when you buy a furnace. You know what's even better? Saving even more money when you purchase a furnace and an air conditioner at the same time.
Harker Heating and Cooling.
In today's Final Touch, an Illinois teen's Halloween costume is going viral.
Again, an Illinois teen who's made quite a name for himself in the Halloween costume game has done it again. Every year, kids and parents in Melrose Park can't wait to see what the Alfano family has in store for Halloween. The family's become famous for creating elaborate costumes, incorporating their now 13-year-old son Anthony's wheelchair. Aww. This year is bone-chilling is the very best way to describe it. It's the famous skeleton key organ from the Goonies. And just like in the 1980s movie, the costume's keys must be played in the right order or else. But it's not the fan fever that or fame that drives the Alfanos, but the joy of their son, who has cerebral palsy, and others just like him.
That's fantastic.
And it even plays.
That's great. And I love that everybody looks forward to it every single year.
What a great
Oh, look at that one.
Yeah.
That's Zoltar. That's a good one, too.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.